for those who are watching. Sorry, sir. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Be Ready, number 502, part 2 of developing a business plan. We are really excited to finish this session off with Karen, who is a tremendous resource. If you weren't in the first session, you will soon find out what a great resource she is for businesses and just people in general here in the city. And so I'm not going to stand in the way. It's our last session, so I'm going to let her take it away. But as always, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or raise hand, and then we'll leave time for questions at the end of the presentation. If you have questions, any questions before we get started about anything, feel free to message those to me. But if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. And thank you again, Karen, for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Ali. I appreciate that. And I'll go ahead and get started. So first of all, thank you for having me back. I appreciate that. So that means I must have did something right last time. So I'm honored to be back. And I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to continue this series. So tonight, the presentation is going to be on how to create an effective capability statement. So it's kind of being picked up from last time when we talked about creating a business plan. So as always, I want to offer my special thank you to you all, and also to my friend and colleague Saria as well at OYS. So thank you, Saria, for bringing us together, and everybody else again. For those of you who I didn't have a chance to meet last time, I get to meet you here in a hot second. And for those of you who joined last time, thanks again for joining us again this evening. And as always, you know, I offer the fact that I can answer any questions, provide some answers to you. However I can assist you, please let me know. Consider me a resource for you this evening. So with that, let's just do some brief introductions, reintroductions as I have on there. For those of you who I didn't have the honor of meeting last time, I'd like to know a little bit more about you. And those who I did meet last time, if you can share with us some information of what you learned last time or what you're hoping to learn about this evening. So that would be helpful for me. So we're going to do that in a minute, and then recap from last presentation, which was about the business plans. And then our meeting purpose tonight, of course, where we're going to spend all the time is how to create an effective capability statement. And then we're going to talk about certifications. I have QA at the end, but I ask that if you have questions, please ask at any time. And I know we're all on social media, so I put all of our handles on there right now. So with that, I turn it over to you all. So with us, if you can just share with me, if we can just go in order. So Brother Ali, I think I have you on mine first, and I'll stop the share so I can kind of see everyone. Oh, you guys all left me. I'm out here by myself, so no one wants to show their video. Okay. Oh, I was gonna say that's just mean. That's just me. You're on.
Oh yeah, we're probably all eating. That's why.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I know that's the case for me. And so you said, what was the takeaway from last session?
Yeah, so just reintroducing yourself. What was your takeaway from last session, or something that you're hoping to get out of this evening's meeting?
Gotcha. So yes, Brother Ali, and I'm one of the facilitators of the program, and my business is I'm a co-owner of Grassroots Bookstore, a bookstore in downtown Phoenix. And I took away a lot, but definitely all of the resources that I didn't know were available to myself and the community through NBEDC, through AZ Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And so that's the biggest takeaway of action-oriented things for me, of like how we can tap into all these amazing resources that can help us grow our businesses.
Great. Well, I'm glad that you found value in that. And Saria, I think, mentioned before, she's the project director over multiple projects at the chamber, and some of them are of no cost. And I believe the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is one of the most inclusionary chambers ever. We have a very strong, diverse population. So please feel free to tap into these resources. So thank you for bringing that back up. And then to my left on, and I don't know your name, I just see, and pronounce it for me, the one that has the camera open.
Mimi.
Mimi?
Mimi, it's okay. Yes, Mimi.
I wasn't here last week, but I'm hoping to take away a lot about getting my business plan together. What I do is I'm actually probably one of 3 Black-owned mobile dog groomers, and I do pet care around the Valley.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what is your favorite type of pet?
I love Rotties. I love Huskies. I love Pit Bulls. Poodles are my favorite.
You love them all. Okay.
I love them all, though. I love them all.
I
But
do
if I
too.
have to choose, Rottie or Husky.
I'm a dog lover myself. So we had a lab. We just had to put her down, and a German Shepherd who's larger than life. So
yes.
So yes.
Both beautiful dogs, great dogs.
Yes.
I love labs too.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And we did talk last week about business plans, and it's an extension of the business planning process. So one of the biggest things was, having your business plan and making sure that you're updating it constantly for yourself. And then we use it for different audiences, whether it's for investors, whether it's, for ourselves for business growth. Only certain pieces would ever be used for a bank, which really relates to financials and a couple of other things. But if you need a detailed course and overview, I think Saria can send it over to you. I sent out the information, the business plan template from SCORE. But if there's something that I can help you with personally, please reach out to me. I'll put my contact information at the end of the presentation. So I'm glad that you're joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And then we have Tramikas, please welcome this evening. Do we want to come back? We will come back. And then we have Jermaine.
Yes, waiting for my camera to come on. Okay, there it is.
There you go.
Yes, hello. Reintroducing myself, Jermaine Shoulders. I own a multimedia production company named Mosaic Entertainment Group, where I write film and television shows. I write scripts and I direct, create content. I'm also an entrepreneur in another sense, where I'm trying to create an app, a video on demand service. I didn't tell you about the app, Karen. That's another.
You gotta tell me about that.
It's a whole nother thing. But I'm getting that built right now, as a matter of fact. But takeaway, and so that's what I do in a nutshell. I've been doing it for 20 years. In a nutshell, what I learned from last week was the importance of a business plan, first of all, and the proper structure. And I'm sorry, I've been like studying because I'm also in school, so I'm a little. But what we talked about last week, Karen, the pro forma and getting that whole thing together, that really sticks in my mind, because I'm like, that is the very thing that I run from. And they say that's what you should run to. Everything else is easy for me. I can write a business plan. That's not a problem. But when it comes to numbers and shit and projecting and shit, excuse my language, but so.
Okay.
So, but the important thing is that I want to do it. So that's and you gave a very compelling presentation. So.
Well, thank you.
That's why we're working together.
Absolutely. And Jermaine was one that took me up on my offer. I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And he did. And so hopefully, I'm able to help add value to all the amazing work you're doing. So we had a great conversation. So I still open my door to everybody as well. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. And then Tramikas, do we have you back online?
Yeah, I had to settle a dispute between my 13-year-old and my 6-year-old. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But my name is Brother Tramikas Muhammad. I'm the chair of the Phoenix L.O.C. That's one of my businesses. The other is part owner of a grassroots bookstore. And then last week was a particular help for me because I got to talk a little bit about a tagline or a statement as it relates to a new venture that we're entering into, titled the Black Independence Network. And for me, that was a personal takeaway because it really helped me to really hone in, think about that particular tagline and how we're going to use it. And then just business planning and development in general is critically important right now, because we are in the middle of that, right? We're in the middle of planning a new business. So that's it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Tramikas, and I'm glad that you're working on that. So how far along are you in making your changes or updates to your tagline and working on your plan?
We're planning it out about a week. So we've given ourselves about 90 days to make this thing happen. So how far along? I'll say we're probably about 15%.
Okay.
If I can put a number on it.
That's a dent. That's making progress. So good. Well, let me know if there's anything that I can do to assist. And as always, you also have Saria. I won't just promote myself because you guys also have Saria as well. So anything that we can do, please let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then Saria.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yes, you are.
So, I always do my business plan probably starting in November. So I will, I usually do a 1-year business plan. So, you reminded me because I've been so busy. So I actually had to put it on my calendar to start looking at direction for next year. So, yeah, but, I always learn things from Karen. To incorporate in my business, because you just never know, you do these documents and stuff, year after year, but it's always good to have someone review it with you again, because sometimes you miss things and be like, oh yeah, I really should incorporate this, or I should incorporate that into the business plan. So thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll turn it back to myself here. I'll put the PowerPoint presentation back up. Thank you all for the reintroduction and letting me know what the progress is that you all are working on. Let me go to the next slide here. So a little bit more about myself, for those of you who may not have remembered from last week, and also to Mimi, my new friend here online. My name is Kaaren-Lynn Graves. I'm the project director and executive business consultant. So I work on multiple projects also at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So right here, my background where it says NBEDC. So we officially received our grant again as of yesterday. So thank you all for your prayers and putting it out there, because we did receive it. So under this grant, we serve American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, all minorities in Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and also on the Navajo Nation. So, so I'm honored to be the project director again for another cycle. And then I also serve as an executive business consultant. I own my own business. The name of my business is called My Business Lady. And right now I am pretty much married to the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They have me on retainer. I'm doing a lot of different things, most important and specifically working on grants and bringing and generating revenue. So those are my two roles. And I'm presenting today under the header of NBEDC and also under myself, because there's different resources that we can do at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce under NBEDC, as well as through the programs that Saria serves on. With that, I am also a board member for the Phoenix Business and Workforce Development Board. We talked about that last week, my role there in terms of really promoting businesses and providing resources, Phoenix related business resources for those of you who have a business in Phoenix. And I want to talk to a few of you about that. And then I also am a board member, a new board member for the Herberger Theater. And I serve on a couple of different committees, including the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So it's a lot of fun being on both of these boards. A show of hands, thumbs, something, anything. How many of you, your business is in the city of Phoenix? Okay, so I want to let you know there's a lot of wonderful, great. I'm glad there's a couple of hands going up. There's a lot of resources out there available to you right now. And I mean, right now, oftentimes at least 2, 3, 4 times a week, I always get from people, Karen, where can I find grants? Where can I find money? I'm in the city of Phoenix. Well, if you are doing any type of training program, if you are training new staff, if you're training existing staff, talk to me afterwards. There's something very specific where the city of Phoenix has dollars in the amount of $50,000 all the way up to $95,000 to help offset some of your costs. So if you are interested, please let me know. I would like to send you the information, but more importantly, I would also like to make the introduction to my colleague who also is with the city of Phoenix. and his name is Rob Stenson. So if you are interested, please just send me a little chat and I'll make sure to get that information over to Saria and she can pass that along to you. So those are the boards that I serve on. Here's something that's coming up that I want to share with you. October 20th, which is the Festival of the Arts with a Herberger. If any of you are interested, please let me know. Like I said, they're working very strong, very passionate around the clock in terms of diversity and inclusion. And there are so many diverse things that go on at the Herberger. I would love for you all to attend if at all possible. So that's just a little plug there. And let me go ahead and get started. So tonight's presentation is going to be information on how to create an effective capability statement. So who can just shout out to me, what is a capability statement? And we talked a little bit about it last week.
It's the business resume.
That's right. That's right. Saria, get that gift card ready. Send it.
I love it.
I love it. That's right. It's your business resume. You want to add on anything else to that?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna give somebody else a chance.
All right. Well, I put it up there. So essentially,
Okay.
it's your company's scopes of work, your services, your past performance, your company's general information. So think of it as a marketing tool. Think of it as your business resume. Think of it as if nobody knows who you are, and they read this information about you, what information could they gather from you? Your name, your phone number, your contact information, your scopes of work, a lot of different things. And by the way, this presentation, Saria is going to send it out when we're all done. So it's going to be all for you. Here's the importance. Anyone want to understand or can shout out what they believe the importance of this capability statement is? Another gift card for $1 million, 1.5 million, anyone?
Is it your expertise and like things that you have achieved?
As a business owner. Yep. For your business, absolutely. So it's your successes, which we'll refer to as a past performance. So if you're thinking along the lines of a resume, let's put that into business speak. So if you're talking about your successes, now we're talking about your past performance. So yes, you nailed it. Anyone else? Okay, I'll start putting some stuff up here. So essentially it's your marketing. It's included in your proposals. I know we had a wonderful young lady last week who talked about her work in doing grant responses, and capabilities are certainly critical toward that. The rest of it's coming up. Certifications, we're going to talk a little bit more about certifications this evening. For those of you who are an LLC, who are a for-profit entity, we're going to talk about what certifications look like and what a certification seal, what does that mean? A capability statement is also a quick at-a-glance read. This is how I always think about capability statements. When you're going out and you're doing a meet and greet with anybody, it doesn't matter if you're at a procurement event or if you're just mingling with everybody and you're at a wonderful event and you're just passing out some information about yourself. It should be a 5-second overview snapshot of your elevator pitch on a piece of paper in terms of who you are. Here's another thing. If you drop that off and you walk away, someone should be able to contact you immediately if they want to bring you back. Meaning, don't put your business phone number, put your cell, put your contact information in there. So again, it's that at a glance read. Your capability statement also is going to talk about your promotions, your awards, your accreditations, and also your associations, those who you're affiliated with. And then any other areas of importance? So think about it. If you have this beautifully done business resume, and now you're at these different events because you're trying to pick up business and you're handing that out, and it has your capability, competency, skills, areas of expertise, past performance, successes. Is there anything else in terms of why you think that is so important? This document that we're going to be focusing on tonight.
Closing the deal.
Closing the deal. What exactly? What else? Puts you above others. It definitely puts you above others. When others are walking around with their business card, which is great. I mean, I love business cards, But when you're out in different events and you're with a mass group of people and you guys are passing out flyers and passing out all this information, you're going to stop and pause and you're going to have your elevator pitch. This is my company. This is what we do. Here's our capabilities. Here's my contact information. Information on the front, information on the back. You drop that off, has your contact information. Let that soak in with them, right? It's something that's very powerful. I have seen some of the worst capability statements in my life, and I have seen some of the best, only because I created them. That's a joke. But but I have seen some really great ones that are out there. And so tonight I want to make sure that we help you so that you can get there too, with having an effective capability statement. Because there's a big difference to me between good versus effective. Good is, it is what it is, but effective is going to get you that call and that next step. So any questions on this, on the overview? Nope, okay. It's a little step here, slowness here. So the next piece are going to be our steps to creating an effective capability statement. So when we talk about any type of document, and mind you, my background, for those of you who may remember from last week, I'm a technical and business writer. I've been a technical and business writer for going on 27 years now. And all the things that I've ever done, all my documents are always written toward my audience. Everything that I do, I get to know my audience very well. And I think that's one thing that makes some of the work that I do successful, is understanding who is my audience. So when you are putting together your capability statement, you may have multiple audiences, meaning you may need multiple capability statements. So for instance, for those of you who are trying to do government contracting versus those who are not trying to do government contracting, the language, the content, the information that's on the capability statements are not going to be one and the same. So always consider who your audience is and speak to them. So if your audience is an investor, you're going to talk very about money. You're going to talk about what's in it for them. You're going to talk about the ROI. If your audience is just, just general information sharing, you're going to tell them more about who you are, maybe a little bit more of a storytelling. So again, understand who your target audience is. And then also when you're creating your capability statement, think about how you're going to share your capability statement. If you're sharing something that's in person, the look and feel is probably not necessarily going to look like something that you may post online, or something that you're going to share by way of an email, or something that you're going to have on your website, the content meeting. So just understand, how are you going to share this information? And then we start taking a deeper dive, create the framework. So every capability statement, and I'm going to send you all the handout. I have a beautiful handout prepared just for you. I created it just for this group this evening. And I helped you create the framework with all the information that you're going to need. Your logo, your tagline, or your mission statement, your capabilities. If you are going into government contracting, your NAICS codes, or your categorization codes, if you will, your license information, your address, your phone number, your certifications, all of that. I have it all prepared for you, and I'll send it to Saria. Do we have questions? Okay. The next piece is make it pop. So there's nothing more beautiful than a sexied up capability statement. We want to make it pop with your look and feel, with your colors, with your information, just kind of making it pretty. And so we're going to go through some ones that we've seen before, and some that we're going to see some after. And then we'll show, I'll showcase in terms of what that looks like when it's all prettied up. And then rehearse your elevator speech to complement your capability statement. So if I were to have my capability statement in front of you this evening, I would be talking about all the different types of and styles of writing that I do. I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, so please forgive me if I stumble. I'm stuttering a lot tonight. But for me, I'm going to talk about my technical writing skills, operational processes and procedures, business planning documents, resumes, curriculum vitae, grant writing. I'm going to discuss all of that in my capability statements, and then my certifications. Not necessarily degrees or anything else like that, but things, what is going to put me above others who I may be competing against. So I would be sharing that with you. And then also I would be complementing it with my elevator pitch. So again, I've been a technical writer for almost 27 plus odd years. My past performance includes me working on a grant funded project through Governor Napolitano's office. you know, another grant funded project with the U.S. Department of Commerce, Bureau of Minority Business Development Agency. So there's a lot of things that I want you guys to vest in me when you're starting to hear me talk, but it's all going to be complemented with my capability statement. Any questions on that? Okay, so now we're going to talk about creating the framework. So I know this is all like pretty, you know, print, and I'm just going through everything, but trust me, we're going to get through showing you some examples here in a second. But here's the framework. And like I said, I created this for you, and I'm going to give all this to Saria to pass over to you. But with the framework, we're going to have your contact information. And again, I'm going to share this and I'm going to state it loud, and please take note of this. Your contact information. Not your secretary, not your friend, not anybody. If you are handing off the document, it should have your contact information. It should have your personal cell. It should have whatever's in your front pocket. It should have your information. It needs to have your tagline or your mission statement. And remember, we talked last week about making sure it's effective, making sure it complements exactly, you know, what your business is. And then it's going to have your business filings. So your DUNS number. Show of hands who does not have a DUNS number. So everybody has a DUNS number? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Standing ovation. I'm proud.
Thank you.
Okay. So Brother Ali, you don't have your DUNS number yet, but we're going to help you get your DUNS number. So
No, that was a thumbs up. That was
that's
you
a
said
thumbs.
you're proud of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, put that
Yeah,
thumbs
mine.
up.
Well, for one of my businesses. I
Put that
That's
thumbs up back up. Put it back up. Please put that back up then.
That's right.
Yes, I am so proud. I'm proud. I love this team because you guys got it together. So you have your DUNS number, and we know that's you know, a thing where government entities or others who are trying to do some credit checks and balances on you in your business, they can check your DUNS number, right? And then how many of you, yes, Tremikas, Brother Tremikas too, yes. How many of you have your cage code? Do not have your cage code. That means you may not be registered in sam.gov. Okay, so we need to make sure. So Saria, maybe at some point we all get back together and talk about that.
Okay.
See
Okay.
the face. I've never seen the little face on there before. That's funny. Okay, so we need to make sure that you have your cage code. And in order to get your cage code, you need your EIN, which is your tax ID number. And you're also going to need your DUNS number, so that this way we'll get your cage code number. So a cage code is a very unique identifier, and that's also given to you by the federal government. In order to get that number, you have to be registered officially on sam.gov. That's sam.gov. And oh, Brother Tremikas, he says, I have both. Okay, well, there you go. I'm so proud of you. Yes, that means you are ready to do federal contracting if you have your cage code. And then you have your unique license number. So for those of you or friends or family who are maybe in construction or who have another field of interest where you have to have a license number, you need to also have that on your capability statement. And then on your capability statement, a detailed overview of your capabilities. Oh, yes, we're going to bring the money, Brother Tremikas. Absolutely. More framework. Here we go. Your NAICS code. Brother Tremikas, do you have your NAICS code too? Oh, he went quiet. He went quiet. Okay. So with our NAICS code, let me explain to you what a NAICS code is. So a NAICS code is just another way, it's just a categorization code. As a matter of fact, when you're doing your taxes, it actually asks what your NAICS code is. So in other words, what's your profession or what are you doing? So for your NAICS code, your primary code is going to be what is the work that you're doing. So Jermaine, you would be doing like, you know, talking about film and production services. You know, Saria, she's going to talk about project management services. So you're going to have a primary and potentially secondary numbers. You must, on your capability statement, and you're hearing it from me, make sure you identify your primary NAICS code. You can only have one. All your codes are also tied to what's referred to as a service size standard. So let's say, for instance, you are in construction services and your NAICS code is 2381246, making it up, okay? Construction services. If you go in your service size standard, what they do is they take an average of your 3 years of your sales. And they'll say, if you go over that number, you are not considered a small business any longer, which will always be a good problem to have. So if you need that information, I'm going to send that to Saria. There's a service size standard drill down chart. You put your information in, you put your primary or secondary NAICS code. You can even type in what you do, and it will tell you what your service size standard is. No, Brother Tremikas, the NAICS code, is that what you're saying? Is through the IRS? There is one for the IRS, but for the purposes of this, no, not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily, no. This is more of a categorization code of your business. Yes. Okay, perfect. And then you are also going to have your secondary code. Yes, sir. Jermaine?
Can you explain what a service side standard is?
Service size standard means, let's say, for instance, you are doing work for the federal government. And let's say, for instance, your NAICS code is, Saria, I wish I had yours up in front. I'll pull yours up here.
Oh, I know what mine is. Ready? I can put it in chat.
Okay, go ahead and put that in chat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Give me 1 second. Please hold.
While you're doing that really quickly, what I'm trying to do, because we've talked before, is see the correlation on how what I do can fit into some of this. So for what I do, would a NAICS code be necessary?
On your capability statement, yes. If you're trying to do work with any government contracting, which Jermaine, you never know, yes or no. I mean, someday you may want to do federal contracting. So let's say, for instance, they want you to come and film a documentary. You need to have your NAICS code. It's required. Okay. So right now I am on the SBA, which is the Small Business Administration. I'm on their table of size standards, which is the service size. And Saria sent me hers. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's this little tool. It's really easy. So it says, do you qualify as a small business for government contracting purposes? So this is Saria's. So this is you, Saria, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Saria, how many employees do you, or let's just make up your 3-year average. So say
You can say 90,000.
3 million, you said?
Yeah, I 3 million, I'll be on vacation.
Okay, so let's say your average is, we'll put 100,000. You know what, Saria, you're worth like $1 billion. We're putting 3 million in there. That's what you should have right this second with all the work you do. Okay, and then we can go ahead and see the results on this one. So Saria qualifies for small business because she is under $8 million on average. Sometimes I think it depends on the NAICS code. It'll also ask you how many employees do you have. So Jermaine, you are doing film production, right? Services?
Yeah, I'm a writer, producer, I create content. So I'm a one-man band. So would you consider a sole proprietor LLC?
Okay, so I just want to see something. So you would be, your code is 512110. I just want you to know that. I'll put that in the chat for you. This is your NAICS code, and it stands for motion, picture, and video production. So you got to play around with this because sometimes, and I put it in the chat for you. You got to play around with it because sometimes it may not necessarily hit exactly. Like I'm a technical and business writer. You're not going to find a NAICS code for technical and business writing. So let's go ahead and do yours to see what your service size standard is. So hold on, please hold for 1 second. Let me go back. Okay. So we have yours right here. Here's your NAICS code. So 512110 motion, picture, and video production. And your 3-year salary is also 3 million, which will be split amongst everyone who's on this call today. And here are the results for you. Woo, look at you, you got a big one. So 35 million average is what your annual salary can't be over. So in essence, if you go over that amount, you are not considered a small business entity anymore. Like I said, that's a great problem to have, unless you are getting all your contracts based on certifications, which is part 2 of this conversation. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second, but just so you know, Jermaine, you may want to make a note of this right here. So you are motion picture and video production, and your service size standard is not to exceed $35 million and 3-year annual. Okay, so it goes off of your 3 years. So once you hit 35 million for your average of 3, you are no longer considered small business. And that takes into account who you're paying, your staff, that takes into account so many things. So let me digress for 1 second to tell you how quickly someone spun out of being a small business enterprise. So at the Navy Gold Coast event a couple of years ago, there was a company that was doing work for the Navy all the time. The person, the contracting officer said, listen, you can't keep coming to us for these contracts. It's great. We're issuing them to you. You guys are very well deserving of these contracts, but you're going to bid yourself right on out of a job. So they kept getting contract after contract, which is a great problem to have. And then they blew out of their service size standard. So let's say they have this contract or that number. They blew outside of that number. And now they were too small. They were too big to be a small business. So they can't compete in small business space. And they were too small to compete with the big boys. They went out of business. They relied on just one stream of revenue. So when we talk about, being a revenue generating business enterprise, know how to diversify what you do. Learn how to sell to different markets, whether it's international, local, national, what have you. Learn how to do this. So in case you bid yourself out of a small business, the service size, you know that you can, get revenue from other entities. So what I was getting with this before, so Saria in lines of yours, Jermaine in lines of your small business standard size, this also, it's not just, it's your annual revenue, not necessarily your take home pay, but this includes everybody. So if you're paying your staff, if you're paying your contractors, it takes into account everything. So I hope that makes sense with service size standards. Does anybody have any questions about that? No, okay. Okay, so we talked about primary NAICS codes and secondary or other. And then also on your capability statements, we're going to talk about a detailed overview of your capabilities. So Mimi, for instance, you were talking about doing pet grooming services. So on your capability statement, I would want to see dogs and cats, and I would also want to see something very unique about your business, like animals that haven't been washed in years, or elder cared dogs and cats, or what have you. Something that's going to make you stand out above everybody else. And also, I don't know for government services, but when I think about you for government services, because I always try to look at everybody for government and non-government, what about the shelters that are owned by the city? Do you have to go in, is that something that your business could do? Or
absolutely, it's something that I want to do.
Something you want to do. So maybe on Adopt a Day, Adopt a Pet Day, well, here's Mimi and her mobile pet serving, service, and here she is washing it. Here's your pet. Take my card, call me back when you need me, because now you're more familiar with that animal too. So that's what I start thinking about everybody who's online. What can you do to sell to non-government and government entities? So again, Mimi, a detailed overview of your capabilities, the types of animals, the hard to take care of animals,
Yeah, I definitely specialize in the animals that are not wanted.
Okay, so animals that are not wanted. Oh, yeah. That's too bad.
Elderly dogs, special needs dogs, crazy dogs.
Right. Okay. And then on your capability statement, we're going to talk about your past performance. So everybody has a project that they have worked on. So Mimi, your project's going to be an unwanted dog, right? The location, where did you take care of that dog? What exactly did you do? You cleaned him up, you trimmed his nails, you did his eyelashes, you painted him pink. I don't know, you did something to the puppy or the what have you. And then the contract value, how much did you get? And then any pictures that you can show.
All the time. I do before and afters every time.
Okay. So my friends who have the book services, you're going to want to talk about the project names that you've worked on. Did you have like a section on, African-American history in this country, what have you, in Africa, something that you did, that project name, where was it showcased? What was the location? Tell me more about the project description. And is there a contract value and any pictures? So we all can showcase this information on our capability statements. And then moving on to the next line, maybe. Okay. And then we're going to have your website. So on your capability statement, your website. So make sure that the look and feel of your website matches the look and feel of your capability statements. And I think one of the best ones is Saria's. Her website's very pretty, and her capability statement meshes and goes along lines of her website. And then any extras. So any additional certifications that you've earned and a type of bonding that you need. So Mimi, I'm sure you have to have some sort of insurance with what you're doing, you know, maybe some specialty insurance. You know, Jermaine, you have to probably have some level of bonding. If you're going in and you're doing production and you happen to, one of your crews, what's that?
I'm helping with homework. Go ahead, Karen. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. So if you're knocking over a building as you're filming, you know, your bond has to pick that up. So bonding, license, insurance. So what does your bonding look like? Matter of fact, everybody, I think on some occasion probably has to have a level of bonding. And then maybe any special awards or special things that you want to put on there. And then other information that's pertinent to the work that you're doing. So any questions on the framework before I show you some examples and we take another deeper dive here? Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, so I hope this piece makes sense because I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to show you a before one. I shared this with you last week, but I think now it may make a little bit better sense. Give me one hot second here. So remember, we went over what a capability statement, the content is. That's what we just went through. Now, given that information, here's one from a client. This is his before. Now, mind you, it has his company. Remember, I think I shared this last week, has his company information, who he is, what he does. Look, this one, he prepared it so that it can be mailed, has a cute little picture of a building over here, his mission statement. His page 2 has his NAICS, his primary, everything that I said, it's in here. His certifications, he's an amazing individual. He's a service disabled vet. He's a minority. He has a whole lot of certifications, all his wonderful information, his bonding, his single and his aggregate. Now, remember, I always believe between good versus effective. This is great. It has good information, has all of his information. Now, here's his capability statement with it being refreshed. We said sexing it up just a little bit. That what you just saw, here it is now. Same exact capability statement. His words, just different places. So now he has his website information. He had that on the other one. His, his mission statement, it was on the other one. His DUNS, his cage, his capabilities, it was on the other document. It's the same information, but can you tell the difference? It's a big difference. So thumbs up for my friends who don't want to, who are chewing and eating a wonderful dinner. Okay, thank you. So now we can kind of see the difference on there. Here's his NAICS code. Here's his primary. Here's all his other capability, his other NAICS codes. Here's all of his certifications, which is part 2 of our meeting this evening. Here's his contact information, not his company or his secretary's information. This is him. If he walks away, someone can call him. These are his high profile clients. He had some of this on the other one. So now here's the building that he worked in. Here's exactly what he did. Here's how much his contract value is for. Same for this one. And same for this one. And then his website and information, his little logo down there on the bottom. How does this one look, guys? Does this one look good?
It looks great. I'm jealous.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you. So that is an example of one. So I'm going to put the presentation back because now we're going to talk about how do we make this all sexied up now. Give me one hot second. Okay, so remember, had all his framework. I'm gonna go through this again. Contact information, his tagline, his mission statement, his filings, his overview of his capabilities, had everything. We just made it look pretty. Okay, and his additional certifications. So, oops, don't look, close your eyes, close your eyes. So now we're gonna learn how to make it pop. The example that I just gave that very clear overview of how to make it pop. So it had different colors, had a lot of different things. I'm going to share this with you. Some of this, you guys may remember it from last week, but I'm going to share it again. Does it say, is it sharing it right now? Did my screen just turn? No, okay. So please hold for 1 second. Okay. Share screen. Here, this one is. So here's an example of another one. It's very pretty, right? It has his certification. So he is a service disabled, veteran-owned small business that he earned the seal right here. Here's his tagline: experience the Bear ASG difference. And the way he pronounces this is Bear, by the way. Here's all of his capabilities, why he is an expert in all the work that he does, his DUNS number, his cage code. And we're going to talk, I'm going to skip this part for certifications because that's part 2. Here's how he is leading the way. So Jermaine, you remember we talked about what are you doing that's different? What are you doing that's different than anybody else? Saria, Brother Tremikas, Brother Ali, Jacqueline, welcome. Hello. I didn't know that you were there. Welcome this evening. Thank you for joining us. So
thank you.
I'm glad you're here. So what is everybody doing that's different from their competitors? Put it all in here. Primary NAICS code, all his other NAICS codes. And what is he doing again with his high profile clients? On the document that I'm going to send over tonight, I have different documents that I'm sending to you. One is going to list out everything that you need to have on your capability statement. The other one pertains to the use of logos. So I put a legal definition in there in terms of using logos and the do's and don'ts of that. So you all will have that information. And then on his, he also has his past performance. So here's, remember what I shared before, his project title, his location, where did he do this? What was the description? Sometimes I would ask that you be a little bit more descriptive, and then his contract values. And here are the pictures on the left-hand side that show the work that he did and his contact information. So if he walked away, it's all right here. Can I show another example? You guys want to see another example of something a little different? Okay. Oops, 1 second, please. This is another one that I had shared last week. I'm showing these because I have permission to share these. So yay, Brother Tremikas, thank you. Thanks for the thumbs up there. So for this one, here's another wonderful one. This one, let's say for instance, he's going to meet with contracting officers that does like security services, right? Top secret clearance and everything else. So we put this front and center. Typically you don't go and promote, hi, my name is Karen, I'm a Black owned, woman owned business. Usually you don't throw that out there because you want people picking you based on your capabilities. The other piece, that's gravy. Most of the time I see that as their check mark. But when you have something as high as top secret clearance and top secret clearance facilities, and you're meeting with these levels of contracting officers, this is something that you may want to put at the top. So here's who they are. Here's their mission statement or their tag, if you will. So who they are. Here's a list of all their capabilities. You can change these different things to meet your business needs. So for this one, I put, their technology platforms and who they are and what they do, their contact information, all their high profile clients. So for me personally, when I look at capability statements, sometimes these wow me and I'll start saying, well, what did you do for Northrop? What did you do for these companies? And then here's all of their project awards that they received. So you can see this one at 1.1 million, a couple other ones, $95 million contract, $600,000 contract. And here's all this information. And do not get intimidated by their dollar amounts. Everybody starts somewhere. So put your information in terms of the contract size and values that you've received. So there's that one. Oh, I saw a question in the chat and let me see here. Oh, thank you, Brother Tremikas. Okay, so Brother Tremikas says it looks more attractive. I'm assuming that you meant from the first one that I showed. Looks highly professional. And is this a template that I use? So I created these, all the ones that you're seeing right now are ones I did. So no, I don't have a template. I just kind of go off the look and feel. And I'm not an artist by any means. I'm a technical and business writer. So I try to do things that make most logical sense. You're seeing from what I'm showing you right now, there's no two that look alike. They're very, very different. If I may show you one final one. 1 second, please. Saria, do I have permission to share yours? I do, thank you. Thanks, Saria. Okay, so this one is Saria's.
Sure.
Because she's given me permission previously and I appreciate this, thank you. So this is Saria's, and she has shared with me that we're going to make some updates to it. But this is one that she has. Boom, right off the bat, we know what she's doing. You have, not only do you have her mission statement, but you actually have her tag, remove barriers and maximize productivity, which we're going to change up here in the near future. So Saria is a person that I hold to the highest regard because she's constantly working on her business. So here's what she does right off the bat: project management and training, her scheduling, process, business documentation, and staffing. Here's everything that she does. This is her information. This is going to her. It's not going to info@OYS LLC. It's going directly to her inbox. And she highlighted her primary NAICS code. Here's all of her professional certifications. And again, this is going to be part 2 of our conversation this evening. And then what's different, what makes her different, her differentiators. And then she has her DUNS number, her cage code, her bonding capacity. Even as a project management firm, Saria has bonding. That says a lot to me. So strong work, Saria. And then her high profile clients are right here. And she has her official certifications and seals. Any questions on any of the capability statements that I just shared with you before we move to the part 2? Nope, we're all good to go, so we can hop off the line.
Karen, I just want to say, you know, the capability statement is so important. I've actually went to a capability briefing with a prime contractor, and that is what I brought to the meeting when we are having our one-on-one. And he asked questions based off that capability statement. You know, what does this mean? Tell me what you do again, right? So we kind of went through that. So it's so important to have that capability statement there with you when you're going tours and trying to get big contracts and meeting with, you know, prime contractors or procurement people or anything with corporate. The capability statement becomes extremely important.
Absolutely. And Saria had mentioned that on another call we did a while ago for capability statements. And we did it with ASU. And after Saria made that comment, we started getting emails and text messages saying, I need mine right now. Saria scared me. I'm like, oh God, okay. So we're on top of it. So yes, so she has firsthand experience in testimonial in terms of why that's so important. So we already talked about, thank you, Saria, again for that. So let me see here. I'm sorry, but the NAICS code is part of getting the SAM process because I think we have it, but have never used it, but I see now its value. Okay, great. I'm glad that you see value. Yes, the NAICS code is, it is part of getting your SAMs, of course, absolutely, because you do have to put in your primary NAICS code. It will ask you if you have any other, I call them secondary, but I think it's just called other NAICS code. So yes, it's part of the SAM, SAM.gov process because they have to understand what's your service size. So we saw, look at the big difference between what Saria's service standard size was as compared to Germain. So Saria being 8 million and Germain being 35 million. So yeah, you definitely need to have the right NAICS code. Okay, so we talked about the look and feel, the logo. So here's an example of a logo, a picture of some past performance, certifications, which we're about to talk about, and logos of high profile clients. And I'm gonna give you that reference handout for rules pertaining to logo use and laws. So in other words, we should not see OYS and Nike holding hands together and Saria getting paid with the Nike logo, right? So we have to make sure that you use have appropriate use of the logos. Okay, so let me go on here. We talked about the different examples and components of your capability statement. So we already talked about that piece. And now we're going to talk about the certifications piece. So whoa, and there's my contact information. Have a good night. So let me go back here. Let me go back one step here. So how many of you have heard of different certifications and what they could potentially mean for your business? Show of hands.
I mean, I've heard of certifications. I'm just, for my business, I'm not sure.
Okay, so we'll talk more about that. And Ms. Jacqueline, please help us understand your understanding too of some of the certifications and what they could potentially mean.
I understand it because honestly, Saria just did a workshop for us on that.
Oh, okay.
But for me, it helps me to understand how I can achieve some government grants just based on these certifications.
Mm-hmm. Okay, absolutely. So there's a couple of different ways and reasons why to potentially get certifications. So I'm going to go through these in detail. And then again, just for everybody on this call and for this evening, I put together an amazing document. I spelled out everything for you. Matter of fact, let me show you how pretty this document is. I was just—
Karen, do you want to take a 5-minute break before you go into certifications, or you want to go straight through?
Show of hands. I'm good either way. If we need to take a 5-minute break, I'm fine. Or if we want to keep it going. So thumbs up if we want to take a 5-minute break. Okay, so everyone wants to take a 5-minute break. So sure.
All right, so let's meet back at 7:36.
Okay, sounds good. 7:36.
Okay. We'll all wait for Karen to get back. Jacqueline, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes, I am. I'm
You want
here.
to talk a little bit about our final survey real quick?
Sure. Okay, everybody. So at the end of our evenings, Saria is going to post a link to our final survey. We really need everyone's feedback because it's going to help us to determine not just how things went for the program overall, but things we can look at to add to the program, because we are looking at doing more in the near future. And what I do want to share is that for everybody who fills it out, there's an opportunity for you to be entered into a raffle for a $50 Target card. So we want your feedback. She's going to place the link. You're also going to get emails. So once she puts the link in tonight, if you'll just take a few minutes to do it, it'll only take you maybe 5 minutes, really 5 to 7 minutes maximum to fill it out, and then just provide your feedback. Thank you.
Okay. Ali, do you have any upcoming events that we should be aware of? Anything like that from the grassroots bookstore? He may not be back yet.
Oh no, I'm back. I don't know
Okay.
if I unmuted myself right. There we go. No, not to my knowledge. We'll have our graduation ceremony next month, so stay tuned for that. But outside of that, we don't have any business-related events coming up through the bookstore to my that I can think of. If I'm missing something, somebody help my memory. But we will still be doing the one-on-one sessions, and we'll still be doing referrals out to all of our partners who have come and present. So we definitely will continue doing that. But we don't have any events planned right now.
Okay.
It's not a bookstore event, but for those who are familiar with the case of Daniel Robinson, we do have a fundraiser coming up this weekend on Sunday, fish fry fundraiser for his family, particularly his father, who's trying to raise funds so he can stay here in Arizona to push the case for his son that's been missing for the last 3 months. And then the Melanated Moms event is coming up, right, Brother Ali? What date is that?
It's in December. I think December 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
Health Expo. We're doing so. My apologies. We do have a few events coming at the bookstore. I just was thinking of business like training events. But we have the Soul Food Wednesday is next Wednesday. It's going to be a food truck event. There might still be vendor opportunities. So if anybody's interested in vending, let me know, or info table or anything like that. Let me know. But that's happening next Wednesday on the 29th.
Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for all the information. If you guys have any more questions or anything like that about the upcoming events, you can go to the website, or you can contact Ali and he can give you that information as well. Does anyone on the line, I know we all businesses, you all have anything that you want to promote? Or if you have any events coming up for your business?
That would be a yes.
Okay.
October 3rd. My partner and I are having we have a monthly film festival or film screening called Black Film Night.
Okay.
So not this Sunday, but the 3rd, October 3rd, we're having a networking event for filmmakers and screenwriters and anybody involved in the filmmaking industry. We'll have refreshments. There's going to be also at the bookstore October 3rd from 4 to 6 p.m.
Okay.
Also, you can purchase my screenwriting book at a grassroots bookstore. It's called How to Get to Your First Draft of Your Screenplay. It's in sale at the bookstore and also on Amazon. Also, yes, I have a dramatic audio program that I created. It's like a television show for radio, but it's a podcast. I have that. It's called The Mastersons on Spotify as well. So you can check that out under my entertainment company name, Mosaic Entertainment Group. And that's it for now.
Okay.
And then on September 26th at 7 a.m., the Phoenix L.O.C. will be starting our community garden grow day. It'll be the second one, so we'll be planting and showing the community how to plant. You're welcome to come, and your family as well. That will be this Sunday, September the 26th. And then we have another event, which is a shop to live event, which is basically a tour of a grocery store. You bring your grocery list, and then our nutritional Ministry of Health takes that grocery list and they go over it with you, the ingredients, so you can really see what you're buying and putting in the store. I can't find the date right now, but that's coming up in October. So if you go to our website, it'll be there.
All right. Does anyone else want to share before we turn it back over to Karen?
I'll just mention every first Friday and first Saturday in downtown, we have vendor opportunities. First Friday, as most people know, is one of the busiest like shopping and entertainment events in the city. And so we have about 12 vendor spaces in front of our shops on Roosevelt Road. And then first Saturday is Archwood Exchange by Black Marketplace. And we do that at the Roosevelt Road Welcome Center. So if you or if anybody that you know has products and they want to, or info, and they want to get out in front of people and they're ready, then definitely feel free to send them my way or send my information to them, and we'll get them plugged in.
All right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for sharing. Karen, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, we'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks for sharing all that information too. And also, I would like to also invite you all to attend the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Datos event. If you guys would like to come as our guest, mine and Suria's guest. If you're interested, please let us know. That one's probably going to be attended by about 500 to 700 people. Always think about these different events as networking events. So if you are interested in joining or coming, please do. It's going to be wonderful. So I put the information there, but if you're interested, just go ahead and email me or Surya direct. Thank you, Brother Ali. So please, if you can join, that would be fantastic. So, okay, so I'll go ahead and continue. This is the document that I have created for you. This document lists all the different certifications, the links, and I'm going to go through each one of these individually. I put all this together last time after we met. I just started working on it. So essentially, the first one being for the Minority Business Enterprise Certification. That's an MBE. So some of these are no cost and some of these do cost money. So the organization that oversees that is the NMSDC, or in our case here in Arizona is the Pacific Southwest Minority Supplier Diversity Council. So just so you know, going forward, oftentimes we rattle off a lot of certifications. So by the end of this call, you all will be saying MBE, DBE, SB, BOSB, BOSB, EDWSB, WSB. It's going to sound like a rap, right? So you guys will all be able to cite these off, I promise you, by the end of this. So there is a fee to get this certification. It's about $350 all the way to $1,100, just depending on the size of your business. So the benefits to this one is being having a certification that's nationally recognized by certified MBEs and also national corporate members that I had listed here. So some of the big ones I remember from their conference, you have Volvo, you have Sodexo Magic. Sodexo Magic is owned by Magic Johnson. You have, oh my goodness, the coffee people. What's the famous coffee people? Someone scream it out to me. Starbucks, thank you.
Starbucks.
Thank you. Starbucks, Walmart, a lot of different bigger organizations, Fortune 500, Fortune, whatever. They are also part of this network for the NMSDC. What I am going to say, I'm going to stop myself before I go any further. When we get our certifications, I have seen people who have come to me saying, Karen, I got my certifications. It did nothing for me. I'm a minority. Where's my contract? And Saria, what do we usually do when people do that other than give them a side eye weird look is we're going to start questioning you. Did you market yourself to them direct? Did you stay on top of them, especially for those who are paid memberships? What have you been doing to market your business online? What types of information do you have in your SEO? And then your certifications, just that icing on the cake. Because oftentimes organizations get credit for those who are certified. So we have to make sure, again, remember in the very beginning, the first thing I said was know who your audience is. So with these different certifications, know who your audience is and know how to market. For with the MBE, I always tell people, if you get the minority business certification and you're trying to do business with Starbucks, with Volvo, with Manpower, with Sodexo Magic, with all these bigger corporations, you need to make sure that the NMSDC helps you. You are paying a membership for something. Make sure you hold their little toes to the fire to make sure that they help you get to those introductions, but make sure that you guys are ready to take that next step. So that's a little bit more about the MBE, which stands for Minority Business Enterprise. This one is more geared toward private sector, not government sector. And this is going to be for those bigger, larger organizations that you're trying to get in with. So that's the first one. Any questions on an MBE certification? Okay, so moving on to the next one, which is DBE, SBE, and ACDBE. So DBE is disadvantaged business enterprise. SBE is small business enterprise. And ACDBE is airport concessions, disadvantaged business enterprise. So here's the thing about this one. This one is no charge except for your own time. It doesn't cost any money. There's different ways. I don't know if everybody, are we all located in Maricopa County? Everyone who's on the line? No? Who's outside at Maricopa?
Me, I'm in California.
Who said me?
Jackie, sorry.
Oh, hi, Jackie. Okay, you're in California. Okay, so Jackie, kind of get with me after and I can send you your certification list unless Saria may have already sent it to you. Just let me know and I can send that over to you. Every state's a little bit different. Anita and Adrian, welcome. I'm scrolling through my thing, seeing who the new people are. So welcome. Glad you were able to join us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so, but if you are here locally in the state of Arizona, Maricopa County, Tucson, and then the other areas, you can just go ahead and click on there and it will walk you through the process of getting your certifications in these areas. Now, again, hold on one second. Hi, Adita. So with the certifications for your DBE, SBE, and ACDBE, these certifications are if you are socially and are economically disadvantaged. Please feel free to look up the definitions. I put the information on here and you can pull up those definitions. So traditionally speaking, women, minorities for socially and economically disadvantaged. So of course, economically side, remember we talked about the service standard size. So you're not going to come in as a multi-billionaire trying to get these different certifications. There are some caveats too when you start looking at minorities and women. So on the non-minority side, if there is a white male who can show that he was socially, could fit into the socially disadvantaged, if you will. Let's say he lived in a trailer park and he did not grow up around any minorities, and he was also economically disadvantaged. And now he is trying to do work with a historically Black university. He may qualify. He may be able to make an argument as to why he may qualify for DBE or SBE status. So go ahead and take a look at those definitions. And again, I'll send this information over to you by way of Saria. The airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise. Let's say, for instance, you have a shop that sells beef jerky, or if you're actually doing concessions, so you have food or you have something to drink or what have you, you may qualify as an airport concessions disadvantaged business. And that certification, all of these, like I said, DBE, SBE, ACDBE, these are all of no charge, and they're all on the same application. So when you go to this one right here and you fill out the different information, it's going to have 3 different sections. It's going to say, what are you trying to apply for? And you can go ahead and select 1, 2, or all 3, depending on where you are with these. This information, when you start looking at set-asides, how many of you have ever heard of someone saying, oh, there's a government set-aside for that? Show of hands. Okay, so just one. So not too many people have heard of government set-aside. So, okay, perfect, Brother Ali. Thank you for sharing that too. So with that, with set-asides, for instance, we work alongside oftentimes our friends at ADOT. So let's say, for instance, a road project comes up, and that road project, it says 14% must be certified. Well, that's where these certifications are coming from. And the ones that qualify, trust me, they are doing some heavy marketing. Brother Ali, did you have a question?
No, I just forgot to put my hand back down.
Oh, okay. Thanks for giving me a high five. So I'll give it right. Okay.
That too.
Okay. And the cost for this one is 0, free. Take advantage of it. The information that's going to be requested of you of this certification process, I can send it over to you by way of Saria if you want to, but you have to promise not to get intimidated, because it's just a lot of questions. And oftentimes you may not have a lot of the stuff that's there, so it will be not applicable. They are going to ask you for your 3 years of personal taxes and business taxes. If you don't have it, it's not applicable, and you explain to them why. They are going to ask you information about like your personal net worth. You need to provide that information. They are going to ask you information about how are you in your office space? Are you leasing? Do you own? Is it a home? Provide details. How did you start your business bank account? Did you start it with 20 bucks in your pocket, or did you take out a loan from your 401k? How did you start your business? Do you have your Arizona Corporation Commission information, or for Jackie, in her case, the information that they give to you in California? So there's about 50, 60 different line items that it's going to ask of you. And for the most part, it's a lot of just checking off the boxes. It will ask you how much you have made in the past 3 years. What does your staff look like? Who is claiming the socially and or economically status? There's a lot of very basic questions. It's going to ask you about your, if you have a operating guide, an operating manual, who's your board of directors, if you even have a board. So it's a lot of different questions. Saria, can you think of any other top questions? I have the list that I can send over to you.
Yeah, they're going to ask about bank information. They may ask you to give 3 references, like businesses that you've done business with. Your NICS code. And then they're going to ask you just a series of documents that you have to upload, like your articles of corporation, your EIN number documentation. So if you don't have that, it's probably about time you go and pull that stuff out, because they're going to ask you for those documentation.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up really quick. Mandatory. Give me 1 second. Okay, I actually have the full thing right here. I'm going to change my screen, stop share for a second.
Hey, Karen, do you want me to bring up my City of Phoenix first application?
You can't here's the information right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So here's all the information that they're going to ask of you for the MBE, DBE, SBE, and if you're a woman-owned small business or economically managed. Here's all the information, and I'm going to email this over to Saria, and she's going to send it over to you all, whoever's interested. So type of business that you have, how many employees do you have, your gross receipts for the past 5 years. Sorry, that's for your WSB. The City of Phoenix looks at past 3 years. The nature of your business, your owner's contact information. See, a lot of this is basic, but if I were to zip past it really quick, you know, oftentimes people are like, oh my gosh, it's too much. But if you read it, these are very basic questions. You know, how did you acquire your business? Do you have a trust? If you do, provide the information. Identify, you have to identify your firm's officers. So it's very, very basic information. And then it's going to ask you, when Saria just mentioned right now, the list of your mandatory documents that you have to upload if you have them. Here they are. Your affidavit of certification, that's a document they provide for you. You check off if you are minority, women, and I think it also asks your net worth on there. You get it notarized and you're done. Your personal and federal taxes for the past 3 years for each owner, your proof of citizenship. So here's all the information, your picture, your driver's license, your titles, your registration for your trucks if you have it owned by the firm. That's if you are, let's say, a trucking company, and if not, you still have to provide the information for lease of your vehicle. So here's all the information. And again, like I said, I'll share this over with Saria. Any questions on that part? Okay. And Adrienne, she said, yes, I'm interested. Okay, right on, Adrienne. We will get that sent over to you. So let me hop back over here to this document here. So again, that's provided at no cost. And that whole list that I just went through, that list is, I combined every single certification. So in my opinion, if you are a MBE, you need to also be applying for your DBE and SBE at the very minimum. The next piece is women-owned small business enterprise and economically disadvantaged women-owned small business enterprise. And you just happen to have the person on the line who is one of the reviewers, which is Saria. So all the information that I shared a hot second ago, it's the same information that's required under this certification as well. So in here, I also put a link to their certification application link. And then their fees also range from $350 to $1,250. And then they also have some amazing benefits too. And I listed those right here. It's already included. My biggest thing with them, just like all the other ones, make sure that they help you market. Make sure you go to them, you show up at their meetings, you're present. Any questions on those or anything, Saria, you would like to add on to the women-owned small business enterprise for EdWASB for economically disadvantaged?
Yeah, I would say that for the women-owned small business, they're going to ask you a little bit more questions because that certification is more geared towards women. So you got to pass 2 tests. You have to be control, which means you have to own 51% of the business, and you have to be able to say that you manage the business on the day-to-day. Okay, so that's 2 of the requirements, and that's what they look for. And all of their questions are geared towards those 2 items. So if you don't fit their criteria for that, your certification will be denied.
Thank you. And I have that whole breakdown too from WEBEC and WEBEC West. So we have that included as well. And then do we have any veterans on the line? Any military veterans? Anyone who know a military veteran who has a business who needs to be getting their certification that you can partner and team with and get more money? Anyone?
Yep.
Okay, great. So I will talk about the veteran owned small business. So you have the VOSB and SD-VOSB certifications. That is veteran owned small business and service disabled veteran owned small business. According to the definition of SDVOSB, a person can be disabled if they are 0% disabled all the way up to 100% disabled. So essentially almost all veterans are SDVOSB. All the information for this certification can be found on this website, and there's different certifying authorities. This one, I put the government one. Some people take the non-government one, so you just have to check. This one is also $0 if you go through the VA. And there's a long list of information that's required, and it's constantly changing. So that's why I only put the verification information right here to click on, because this one, of course, it's going to ask to make sure that you were a veteran. It's going to ask for a couple of different pieces of paperwork to make sure that you were service disabled veteran. And then it's going to ask for some very unique information on your taxes. And then, of course, everything that I just showed a hot second ago is also going to be included in there. So your taxes, your NAICS code, if you're already registered in SAM, ownership of the business, who's the controlling authority, who are you currently doing business with, what branch. There's a lot of information that's involved in this one. What I can say, the benefit to working with the vet, oftentimes there's a lawsuit, and it's called the Kingdomware lawsuit, which is, I call it the power of two, and it's totally misleading when I say it. Called the power of two for this reason. If you have 2 or more veterans going after a contract, at least one of them has to get that contract. So let me break that down. If I'm a veteran and Saria is a veteran, Anita is not a veteran, and Brother Ali is not a veteran, but Brother Ali has 50 years experience, Anita has 45 years experience, Saria and I, we each have 3 years of experience, but we're certified, guess what? We may get selected over you guys. So I oftentimes tell people, make sure it's always a great idea when possible to work with veterans. We're working with one right now, and he loves to teach people how to do different skill sets. So this way it helps and enhances his business, and they don't necessarily have to be a veteran-owned small business. But for him and his proposal, he can go back and say, I'm training others who are not SDVOSB or VOSB certified. Any questions on that? VOSB, SDVOSB? The next one is historically underutilized zone. Show of hands, who knows what that is? Everyone knows what a hub zone is? Okay, so a hub zone is a historically underutilized zone. So it's very unique areas that are sectioned off throughout the United States that are considered underutilized. So if you can think about it, I grew up on base, my parents were in the military. So all around the base, typically you have things that like near an airport. So things that may need some enhancement, may need a little love in some of these different areas in these zones, but essentially they're underutilized zones and underutilized areas. So also all Native American communities and others as defined by the government are also included. So what I did was I included a hub zone map, and I want to show you what that looks like, because I think it'll add a little bit more context into where a hub zone is, and then I'll explain what the benefits are. So hold for one hot second. Let me put it up here. Share my screen. Okay, so this is a hub zone map. I'm going to go ahead and put in our business address. So 1020 Missouri Avenue in Phoenix. Please don't assume that because one side of the street is hub zone, the other side is, because it's not the case. One of our clients, you can see her roof from our office, and she's one street over and she is not in a hub zone. So you really have to go off of an address. So here's our address. And as you can see, it says qualified hub zone. So that means the following. Hold on, I'll go ahead and switch my screen back. So with that, it really helps a lot with federal government contracting. So what they want you to be able to do is come in and change like where you are, if you will, enhance it. So if you have a hub zone business, 30% of your staff must also reside in a hub zone. So let's say low income areas or low to moderate income areas, and that's a banking term, LMI. So if you are in an LMI area or in a hub zone area, and 30% of your population are also in that hub zone area, and you get a government contract, chances are you have to pay them what's referred to as bacon wages. So you're paying them some pretty top rates, right? So those 30% that are in your office, think about them infusing the economy with additional revenue, because now they're getting paid at a higher rate. Now, hopefully that's supposed to be changing the area that they're around. So the goal years ago, I was told by one of the attorneys started the program, HubZone program. He said originally they wanted it to be once a hub zone, always a hub zone. However, hub zones are constantly being reevaluated all year throughout the year. So there is benefits when it comes to government contracting to getting a hub zone, making sure that you're in a hub zone area and 30% of your staff are in a hub zone. And that can include you if you are the owner of the business. So there's very specific qualifications, and then there's an application process for that. Any questions on that? Okay. And then finally, you have the 8A certification, and I did not put that in there. Anyone familiar with 8A has heard of 8A before? Thanks, Adrian. I'm glad you're liking this. Okay. So high five, Brother Ali, as you have here. So you've heard of the 8A. So tell me more about it.
If I remember right, this is in regards to federal contracts, opportunities. I'm looking to make sure you're not in your head. Okay. So the way it came up was we have a friend who's in I think USDA, and so they have opportunities that come up occasionally, and they said that we should get on the 8A list because they'd be able to pick us for different bids and things like that.
Absolutely. So it's another government program, and it's very unique. It's also for socially and or economically disadvantaged enterprises. They call it an 8+1 year program. So you can only be in this program for a limited amount of time. They changed it because of COVID. I don't know if they changed it back. I just attended a conference a couple of weeks ago, but let's just say minimum 9 years that you're in this program. So essentially the government has all these different projects and programs, and let's talk about construction and IT services. And they have, again, that word set aside. So they have a set aside program, and on there it would say set aside for those who have an 8A contract. So if we go back to that example given before where Saria and I have that 8A certification, but Brother Tremikis and Brother Ali do not, but you guys have been in business, 20 years longer than Saria and I have been, we're still going to be looked upon as getting that contract because we have the certification. So it's a very wonderful, it's a beautiful program. What I appreciate about it, what I love about the program, is people are often vetted. You're already pre-vetted by way of government. They do their checks and balances. And let me tell you, the 8A is one of the most, it's one where you're providing a lot of information. Like you're pretty much handing over the farm plus your firstborn. You're giving them everything. You're giving up a lot of information because they're going to vet you to make sure that you are qualified. So think about it like this. I went to an 8A conference. This one happened to be years ago in Memphis, Tennessee. And the contracting officer, he said, come to my class. I want to talk to you because I'm looking for an 8A certified company that can do tchotchkes, like pins and, little trinkets and everything else. He said, I got a contract for them immediately. So if I had a client of mine that was already 8A certified, they wouldn't have to go through the whole long approval process. They've already been vetted. These contracts can be awarded because once a person has already graduated from the 8A program, that's it. They can't, you're graduated. It ends that moment that you graduate. So if I'm in the middle of a contract, I don't know what that looks like, but what we've been told is once it's ended, it's ended. So there is some benefits in terms of being 8A certified. Also, to be part of the 8A certification, you must have been in business for at least 2 to 3 years. They want to see past performance, and they also want to make sure that you have diversified your services. You cannot just live on government contracting only. You want to make sure that you have different types of criteria and past performance under your belt. So it's a wonderful certification to have. Also, once you graduate from the program, you may be qualified to be a mentor protege. Well, you can teach others under you how to do 8A certification. Hold on, I'm sorry, my husband's making fun of me right now. And you can kind of train them along the ranks, but there's a way for you to collect money on that end as well. So with that, those are all the different certifications. Does anybody have any questions about 8A or any of the other certifications? Nope, we're all good. We're all going to get our certifications. Brother Ali wants to continue to high five me. I'll make sure we have our capability statements done and our business plans done by there's no next meeting, right, Saria? That's it? This is the last one?
This is the last one for this year.
For this year, okay.
I mean, Karen, you can always come back. You come back whenever you want.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I will. I appreciate that. But does anyone have any questions before we go enjoy the rest of the evening and eat some good food? Because I know I'm hungry. I've been eating croutons while I've been sitting here, so. Thanks, babe. Thanks, Jackie. I'm very honored and thank you for saying that. And I would look forward to coming back. So whenever you all are ready for me to come back, please let me know. I am here for you. If you have any questions of me, please let me know. Saria, I think that's all I had for the evening. Like I said, I'd love to see you all at the L.O.C event. Please understand that, you know, as you can see, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is probably one of the most inclusionary chambers that you're going to find. Saria and I work there. Other minorities and other individuals work there as well. This is a wonderful thing that we have for the community, and especially programs that are provided at no cost. You can't get better than that. And especially having a direct nexus and connection to so many of your clients. So, so please come join us. That's all I had, sir.
Yeah, we had what I think his name was Eric, one of the business development directors, come on our session last week, and it was really, really informative. He told us about Datos and a couple of the other programs and initiatives. So, so definitely looking forward to it, and definitely encouraging everyone to look into it and sign up if you can. And when is the Datos event?
I believe it's I think it's October 29th. I put it in the chat earlier.
Oh, perfect.
Yes. So yes, October 29th.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we can't thank you enough. We won't tell anybody else, but you definitely have been the favorite presenter. So it's only right that we close off with your presentation. So thank you so much, and thank you for, you know, being true to your word and extending to help beyond just a session. So once again, we encourage everyone strongly to take advantage of that and take her up on her offer. Let's start getting on camera.
Absolutely. And I'll go ahead and put my information in the chat.
Okay.
Actually,
Perfect,
unless
perfect.
you guys
So
want to
yes,
take a
so everyone,
screenshot.
yeah.
Also, we just
We
want to
might have some technical.
want to remind everybody to click on that survey and take the survey.
Yes. Please, please, please take the survey. It is in the chat now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna send it out, but since you're on, it's only gonna take a few minutes. We are really in need of the feedback, so we definitely are asking, pleading to take a few minutes and complete the survey while you're here before you move on to the next thing, just because we know how life gets in the way sometimes. So if you're on, please complete it. Just reiterating thanks to Karen, and screenshot her information. Feel free to reach out to her, to Betsy, for everything that was discussed today. Continue to take advantage of the co-working and the one-on-one technical assistance if you haven't done so already. Definitely want to plug that, but we'll still be having those sessions and assisting however we can in the meantime. And I think that's about it. Stay tuned. Since we have a few people that came on toward the end, we'll be having graduation next month, so stay tuned for that. I got my cabinets all over behind me. Sorry, I was cooking some cookies while I was listening. Sorry. But yeah, so just thank you everybody for your participation throughout the program, for coming on tonight. Once again, we are looking to move this forward and improve and build upon it. So if you have feedback, please don't hesitate to share it through the survey and directly through to us, to the facilitators. I'm going to open it up to Sister Jackie, Saria, Brother Shamikis, anybody else that wants to add anything that I might be missing, since this is our last session here. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
I've
No,
got
I think,
No, thank you. Thank you.
yeah, I think we caught it all.
Okay.
Yeah. And thank you guys
All
for
right.
tuning in. You know, you guys have been great coming to all these classes, and we appreciate you all and appreciate all of the speakers that participated. Yeah, you'll have their information. You still can reach out to the speakers as well if you need to. And I would recommend you do that.
Absolutely. If there's a session that you missed that you would like to see, we have the recordings for all of the sessions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to get access to the recording, including these sessions. If you missed the first one or missed the beginning part of this one. And that's it. Make sure you stay tuned to your emails for any other links. We'll continue to send out information as it comes. There's another grant opportunity that's specific to Black-owned businesses that we'll send out. The first round closes tomorrow, but it's just a brief questionnaire that you have to fill out for the first round. So we'll get that sent out momentarily. So just keep an eye on your email inbox if that's something that you want to apply for. But other than that, we will go ahead and wrap up tonight. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you so much, Karen, Saria, Jackie, for everyone for your hard work and diligence in this program. And we will see you soon.
Thanks. And if I can have Jermaine and Saria, if they can stay on just for one hot second, I'd appreciate that. Have a peaceful day, everyone. Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is that to discuss the training?